The markets are going up, but will they continue? Let's cover that and see what's going on. All right, so firstly, you wake up on a nice Monday morning, 24th of March, and you see greenery in the market. This is certainly a good sign. Solana is starting to do a little bit of a pump here, and it could be sustained. I think it is potentially a sustaining pump. We'll cover that shortly. In general, if we have a look at the market state visualization, beautiful, lots of green. ETH's doing pretty okay. Sol's doing okay. BTC is doing as well. And XRP, remember, it's a token which, if you're going to hold, it's just because normies are holding it, because normies think it's going to go to $1,000. So it's kind of something that you would hold and then you'd dump it as the hype went a little bit crazy. Not financial advice, of course. Fear and greed index is at 45, so we're starting to get neutral. Well, we're fearful, but we're starting to get more neutral. This is improving. We do need to come up quite a bit, though. So why is this all going this way? Well, this is thankfully due to maybe a little bit of relief when it comes to tariffs. So on April 2nd, we're going to produce a list of other countries' tariffs, and we're going to go to them and say, hey, here's where we think the tariff levels are, non-tariff barriers, currency manipulation. If you stop this, we will not put up the tariff wall. And there was also going to be specific sector released tariffs, so like automakers or chip makers or whatever. And this was going to happen on April 2nd, but now this has been paused. If we have a look at this report, sector-specific tariffs are now not likely to be announced on April 2nd, citing an administration official. So that's essentially what's going on. Now, if we have a look at the Bitcoin stuff, we've got Arthur Hayes, who's, BitMEX co-founder. He's predicting Bitcoin will hit 110K before retesting 76K. And the reason is Fed is kind of going from quantitative tightening to quantitative easing. This is a little bit complex as a topic. It's a little complex, but we'll just make it really simple. Quantitative easing is you're putting more money into the markets, lowering interest rates, etc. Quantitative tightening is you're restricting money and interest rates go up. So more liquidity, lower interest rates, bullet for crypto and highly speculative stocks, as well as like housing, basically bullish for anything really, other than the actual returns on the US dollar. And quantitative tightening, less liquidity, high interest rates, bearish for crypto. It's time to lock in, more or less. Over $130 million has been liquidated in shorts as the crypto markets rebounds. So you have to be mindful of this, and you have to be very, very mindful of where levels are. There's different levels where market makers will hunt certain prices, liquidation clusters. So when you're looking at something like this, and Ranger Finance does a good, almost daily, I hope it becomes even daily, but a good little breakdown of where clusters are. They covered one on Friday, and actually we'll go to that in a second. But essentially, if you're looking at this, just so you're aware, you can see that you've got two sides, and these are all the people that are shorting. So that's shorting, that's saying the market will go down. And there's a massive cluster here. And so Wintermute and other big market makers, they will happily try and push the price up to there to take out this cluster because they're going to earn massive amounts of fees. Here, these are all the people that are longing, and if the price drops down too low, then they'll come out as well. Now, here, this looks pretty balanced, to be honest. So if we have a look at very quickly at Ranger Finance, we'll have a look and see what they're paying attention to, and specifically on Solana, as that's kind of what we're looking at. We'll give this a mute, but we'll make this a little bit bigger. So if we have a look at this here, you can see this is a couple of days ago. This was when the current price was 133, and there was a decent cluster here. So this was like around $138. Massive amount of shorts would be liquidated at this price, and you can see it'd be very easy to take that out. You also have to look at the off-chain data as well. Whereas here, the longs, you'd have to move all the way down to this price to like 120 in order to make good bank. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, if we have a look at it live right now, sorry, the price is moving up. There's not a lot. There's just one big candle here, but sometimes these can be UI issues. So At present, there's certainly more. There's not a lot of shorting. I mean, we can clearly see that there's not a lot of shorting happening right now. There's far more longing of the market. So we'll wait for a little bit more data, but this looks more favorable. Like, the other thing is there's no clusters anywhere. So there's no real reason to move the price down to capitalize on it to then make some massive fees. You'd have to move the price all the way down here in order to make some decent bank, other than this one candle, which of course could be a mistake. Let's move on to a little bit of Bitcoin news. I only mention the Bitcoin news not because I'm necessarily bullish on Metaplanet or anything like that, acquiring an additional 150 BTC, but more so because it is a pretty fun time when it comes to other companies coming on board and other governments coming on board. That's majorly the point here. It's more of just a ripple effect of institutions getting on board as opposed to anything like, if you wanted to, you could probably buy the stock and the stock may go up. But it's more the fact that there are other people coming on board. And Michael Saylor, look, he bought a tiny amount here when he probably should have bought more. You don't want to, he's literally gone and bought tops here, which is quite interesting. But of course, they're up considerably over the long run. The point with this is when this happens, you start to get a lot more people coming in and getting interest as well. All right. So this is a little bit of a report. The US White House says gold reserves may be used to purchase Bitcoin. We'll have to wait and see if this is true. And I don't know how many different committees it has to go through in order for it to be actually signed into law. And this video here, this has nothing to do with Bitcoin or whatever, but this shows you where opportunities are. If anything like this happens, you have to watch tickers in terms of meme coins. The morning routine, I'm sure you've seen it, massive amount of views. In particular, the thing that's getting the most amount of interest is this one, dunking your face in special water. Sol Jakey did his own version where you can check it out. It's kind of funny. It's very funny. Yeah, the whole thing of this is this funny. Like, he dives. It's a 4-minute dive, just that. It's just nutty. It's just pretty clever. But what was really, really cool about it was there was an opportunity born with routine. And remember, even if you bought the peak, if you DLMM this, you would have been making decent profits. I don't like the token or anything like that. I know it's clever, but it's just probably going to have some hype and then kind of phase out to not being that interesting. But it does have decent fees right now, $1 million worth of volume. If I was going to DLM in this, I would like it to kind of come down to like a lower point of this range, something like that. And of course, like here is our top. So that's currently where our range is. And I'm not saying you should go and jump in and get amongst this. You can look at your RSI, you can look at your other indicators, but this could be a good fee printer. Other news, we've got the Fidelity filing for a US Treasury fund on chain on Ethereum with SEC, expecting that to go live May 30. So my expectation here is this would be a product where you hold US dollar coin, USDC or whatever, or some sort of, not USDC, but some sort of token on chain when it gets the US Treasury rate. It probably require KYC or whatever. I'm not super bullish on it, but it's something being produced. BlackRock's ETH assets has surpassed $1 billion, and only just recently. So BlackRock is the biggest wealth. What would you call them? A wealth manager in the world. So keep in mind for that, because ETH has not outperformed at all. Like you can see, we're looking at market cap, but we can have a look at price. It has just not outperformed, but I think it's due for some sort of attention. Having said that, I think Solana's going to do better. You can, of course, go and play a Monad, have a bit of fun there, but Mega ETH is the next thing that you want to check out. We'll have a thread on this later today, and then we'll create a video on it as well. Of course, for anyone doubting, most of my attention is always going to be on Solana, but there's opportunities out there, and we do need to take advantage of these opportunities. At the very least, you go and find something fairly cool on Mega ETH, and then you think, oh, that would look pretty cool on Solana. Let's, hopefully someone ships that, etc., etc., etc. Okay, Next bit of news here is just the calendar. For whatever reason, we don't have a lot of stuff in here this week, unfortunately, but we'll get that fixed up. But basically, this Solana Accelerate, if you're in the US, you get a ticket, you get a +1 ticket. I think this would be very worthwhile. I'm not in the US, so it'd be a bit hard for me to get there, but I think this would be lots and lots of fun. And buy your Accelerate ticket by March 31st, get a free ticket. This is in New York. The Jupiter calendar is going to be going through a major refresh, I think. And specifically, things you need to keep in mind today is like enable the Jupe DAO notifications, or I'll show you something else. Like a lot of people miss out on the vote because they didn't realize it was happening and not watching the content maybe. If you've been marked as a Sybil or bot, the appeal, it closes end of March. So go and do that today. There's a live feedback stream by Cash at 2 p.m. There's a lot, and there's Jupe and Juice happening at 11 p.m. Specifically with Cash, I've mentioned this before, big fan of Cash, and I think his communication is going to elevate Jupiter up massively. Jupiter has made some mistakes, of course. Meteor has made some mistakes. Mistakes will always be made. The difference is, you know, if you make mistakes and then kind of own them and fix them, that's fine. And regarding Meteor and M3, yeah, that was a terrible mistake. Jupiter hasn't had any mistakes like that, but of course, they're going through an audit to see like if there's been any unethical behavior in their team. But regardless about that, I do think Jupe will outperform massively, really, really massively when it comes to token price, but also like product. They've got some competition from Titan, aggregator, exchange aggregator, which is like in beta. Haven't used it, but I'm still like backing Jupe for sure. Long story short, if you want feedback or if you want to learn about stuff happening with Jupiter, get on these, ask questions, be thoughtful with your process. Don't just be annoying because Cash has learned how to be friendly and also direct, and he'll just tell you if you're being silly. But get amongst this, and then other teams out there, join them as well to see what you can do to add more transparency to your project. It's a harder bull market this cycle. Money just doesn't grow on trees like it did in previous cycles. The biggest thing with the DAO vote is like you have this narrow window of time, and I miss it myself because I'm busy making content, which is a bit embarrassing. But there's 5 votes coming up. You can go to vote.jupe.ag. Now let's have a look at TradingView, and we're going to start with market cap USDT dominance. If this rises, the bull market goes over because people are swapping into USDT, of course, USDC as well, more so this cycle. Here, these indicators are probably not necessarily, destined to work, but they probably do work pretty well. These are the indicators we use for other trades. But the point is, we're dropping in terms of dominance, which is a good thing, and we've dropped past this level of this bullseye border level of support, this green thing. If we come on down all the way down here, then as we drop, the bull market is certainly going to be far more fun. So we want to see this drop. It peaked up March. This is on a 2-hour chart. It's been peaking out, climbing and climbing and climbing, and we need this to come on down so that we can start to see some green candles up across the board. Now, I've covered this all the time. I'm going to keep covering it until I learn something better. Because this works really, really well. It's a video done. I've done a couple of things with Katoshi. One's on Jupiter Exchange's channel. You can check it out. Essentially, you want to look at Bitcoin first. You can look at Bitcoin on the 2-hour chart or on the daily chart. And if you look at this, you can start to see, like, where is it looking? Right now on the daily, it's still coming down. But on the 2-hour, it's definitely been up, and it's far more fun to have a look at. In particular, you can open these trades. This is not financial advice, of course, but you can watch the video yourself. You can open the trades. Once you get a green candle, it closes, you enter. And if you enter here, from here to here, I think you're up like 7% or something. But you want to see if Bitcoin's doing well before you look at other altcoins, because Bitcoin leads, at least at this stage of the market. Solana, you can see the same thing happened. You could close it at these points. You could, you take your profits, but this was just on Saturday. It started to look decent at 129, and it was just immediately obvious. And it looks like there's a bit of momentum coming up with this as well. So, like, always pay attention to the charts as well when you're DCAing, selling. buying whatever. Ethereum as well. This entered like over a week ago. It came up and it's been green ever since. So there's a lot more attention here, and we kind of roughly estimate that to be like up 10%, which is pretty decent for ETH. And then Bonk, you can't necessarily use the same kind of information with Bonk and meme coins because they don't have as much data. But what is pretty epic to know, and I'll actually illustrate on ETH, is you need to really start to achieve some fun, you need to get through all this red. And if we come back, we'll have a look at Bitcoin. There's not too much more red to go before we're at 90K, and then we're starting to be like, okay, we've got a bit of room to go. We have to get all the way past 160 with Sol. ETH has got quite a bit to go, but Bonk was really, really struggling. And now it's just doing really well. It's going through all this. And if by the time it went green, it went red very, very briefly. But at this point, if you had opened and used this system, you'd be up 32% in 10 days. So you just got to keep in mind, like, you do have to use some technical analysis. Last one here is S&P 500. And all I'm referring to here is crypto is correlated very, very strongly with S&P 500. So if you start to see green coming up here, even though it's got to go quite a bit higher to look kind of healthy, if this is starting to go up, then crypto will potentially be following there as well. That's everything. Thanks very much for watching. We'll be back again on Friday with another bi-weekly update, but there'll be other videos coming out over that, including later today, there'll be a video as a podcast with the Zeus co-founder, Justin. So check that out as well. Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed. Check out these two videos over here. One relates to Meteor. The other one's just a random crypto video. Get amongst it.